I've got a challenging question to lead off in this Life Lessons Learned episode. How often are you able to be the champion for someone else? I'm going to give you a great example of how it worked for me, or I should say, didn't work for me growing up. Oftentimes, I was the smallest kid on the playground. And so when it came time to pick sides, I generally wasn't considered a team captain. In fact, more often than not, I was the last player picked. And it usually was because I was the only one left. And somebody had to make the choice to have me on the team, even when the teams were already even. That's a real struggle. And I am sure that many people have grown up with the same experience. Now, as an adult, and more important, as a leader who exhibits leadership behavior, regardless of whether I have a formal leadership position or whether it's purely positionally focused based on the work that I perform, I recognize the power of being a champion for somebody else, somebody sometimes who isn't even in the room. For example, last year I was able to have a conversation with one of my colleagues about who we would bring onto the team to continue to work the new year's worth of engagement. We had budget for one or two positions. Now, how we divided that out, it really didn't matter. The point that was most important was who we were going to bring on. Now, I had actually worked with one of the people that I was going to advocate for in the year prior. And I knew because of their performance, they needed to be brought back into the engagement to continue to do the great work that they had already started. The second person, on the other hand, I had not worked with before, but I knew enough about this person and the quality of the work that they did where I was willing to risk bringing them on board with the understanding that although past performance is not an indicator of future results, I had the confidence in this person because I had talked to them a number of times that they would be the right fit for the team for the work that we needed to have done. So in both cases, neither one of them really knew that I was talking about them in the best possible light in conversations that they weren't even involved in, because I really wanted them to be a part of the team and, moreover, to be a part of the success of what we were about to deliver into the public as a software as a service application. This is the power of true leadership. This is the power of being the person who can be the voice for the voices that are not there. This is championship. When we have champions, and I know this is an antiquated concept, but when we have champions, people who are speaking good about us when we're not in the room, we're in the best position we possibly can be. And vice versa. When people are speaking good about us as leaders because of our leadership ability, what we demonstrate on a day-to-day basis, people want to work with us on our teams. It may go something like this. Jane is so phenomenal about listening first that really any problem I have, I bring it to her because I know she is going to want to understand what's really going on. She's not going to pass judgment. She's not going to jump to conclusions. She's actually going to listen and ask questions to figure out if what I'm saying is actually the problem, or maybe it's 2 or 3 layers down. That's the type of leader every one of us should aspire to be. That's the type of leader I continuously aspire to be. Somebody who draws people into the idea, hey, we can build this. Hey, we can create this. Hey, we can take this initiative on. Because when you aspire to be present for people and people then are present for you, That is a flywheel of success that progresses regardless of whether or not you're actually in the conversation. And more important, regardless of whether or not the person who needs to be in the conversation is there with you. So that's my thought. Be the champion for somebody who isn't there in the conversation. And then they will be the champion for you when you're not there. Hope you enjoyed this life lesson learned. Another Tim Unscripted episode in the box.